All right, so this is Chapter 3, Test Review. Okay, the first thing is all of our angle pairs and what they are. So make sure you know what vertical angles are. Linear pair. Okay, there's no proof, so we don't need to know that that's a vertical angle theorem right now or linear pair postulate. That's okay, because there's no proofs on this test. We need to know what alt interior. Make sure I got all the stuff written down. Because these are one of the things you're going to have to study, both vocabulary and the math. So alternate interior angles. I butchered that word up pretty well. Alternate exterior angles. Okay. Consecutive interior. Angles. And let's see, what was the last one? It was corresponding, right? Angles. I'm sure I misspelled something. All right. Here's what's important to know. On vertical angles, angle 1 is equal to angle 2. If they're vertical angles. And I'll show you an example of all of those in a second. Linear pair. It would be angle 1 plus measure angle 2 equals 180. Okay, that's basically the theme for everything else. Alternate interior angles. Okay. Alternate exterior. Consecutive interior. And corresponding angles. Oops. Measure angle 1 is congruent to measure angle 2. Yes, they're trying to sell me something very, 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 very nice. They would have left a message. That's how that works. All right. I want to stress these two. These two are different. They're the ones that add up to 180. Those are things to study. Those are things to make sure. So the first two, linear pair and vertical angles. We are focusing not on parallel lines, but on the x. Okay? So if I have angles 1, 2, 3, and 4, vertical angles are 2 and 4, 1 and 3. Of course, they're equal. Linear pair. Linear pair. 1 and 2. 2 and 3. 3 and 4. You can't see all that, but that's where it is. Okay, so just make sure that you have all of that down. Okay. All right, we're going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So just go ahead, don't say it out loud, just go ahead. I'm going to write 2 angles and you say the vocabulary for them in your little notes. So angle 1 and angle 5, write down what that vocabulary is. Okay, what is it? Okay, it's corresponding angles. Okay, how about angle 3 and angle 5? Write it down. Say it, what is it? Consecutive interior, right? Okay, 1 and 8. Alternate exterior. Okay, that's stuff to study. There's videos. There's definitely some notes that you should have already on this. So that's one part of it. That's and the main stuff we're going to worry about is this stuff right here. I might put 1 or 2 of these on here. But the main part is down here is what we need. Okay. So the other part of it, I'm just going to, we just went over it. It is writing things in slope-intercept form. It is all that perpendicular, parallel, and all that stuff. It's graphing lines. So I'm going to see if you can do that. And I'll probably need to just go over, once you're done, go over the questions that are hard for you. The main thing that did not make this, this particular review sheet, for some reason, I'm going to give you that problem and we're going to review it right now to make sure that we can do it. And let me go ahead and get that problem so it will work out perfectly. Okay. So I'm going to call this B. And y equals negative x plus 8. Here's what I want. I want a line that is perpendicular to this line that goes through the midpoint. Okay? So it goes through this point, goes through the midpoint, and is perpendicular. So remember the 3 things that we need to do on that. The first thing we need to do is find the midpoint. Second thing we need to do is, well, find the perpendicular slope. That should be easy. Okay, fourth thing that, well, that's not fourth thing. Third thing we need to do, once we have the midpoint, we have the slope, we need to find the perpendicular bisector. Okay, so go ahead and try that, and I'll slowly be behind you so we can find all that kind of stuff. So we got to find the midpoint. I don't know if this example works. I think I left off some very, very important information to find the midpoint. I think this one is just a standard problem. Let me see what I did wrong in the asking of the question. Oh, I see what I did wrong in the asking of the question. I gave you the wrong information. Okay. I'm going to give you the correct information so you can do the problem correctly. That might help, huh? You weren't going to be successful there because I didn't have the right information. This is the correct information. you were going to have a hard time finding the midpoint without having 2 points to find the midpoint between. This was a different problem. I just misread it. And again, I'm picking problems that work out nice, not ones that work out terribly. Otherwise, I'd just pick 2 random points. So we're just going to have, 1 or 2 of these. I'll double check, because I'm not trying to be confusing on this particular test. And I'm going to put up some stuff that, if it didn't make the review, because this review is different, if it didn't make the review, I'm going to put up stuff that you need to know for the test, so we can put it in your notes instead. Okay. I think there are a couple more words that I need to put up for you. Okay, that's the only one I need. Okay, cool. All right, finding the midpoint. That should be easy, right? -5 plus 3 is divided by 2 is going to equal what? -1? I'm betting, since I have the same numbers here, that the y is also going to be. Okay, that's easy. Okay, we need to find the perpendicular slope. In order to find the perpendicular slope, what do we got to do first? Find the slope of this one. So let's go ahead and find the slope of that one. Let's do 3 minus -5 over -3 minus -5. That one was easy. Here's the hard part. What's the perpendicular slope of 1? So when you flip 1, it just stays 1, right? And so it becomes -1. Now, finding the perpendicular bisector should be easy, right? I use the midpoint because we want it to be perpendicular through the midpoint. And I use this slope. There's a lot of -1s on this problem. So let's see here. That would be y plus 1 equals -1, x plus 1. Okay, it's really minus a -1, but I put a plus. It's really minus a -1, but I put a plus. So this would be y equals, well, let me do all the steps. Y plus 1 equals -1x minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. Y equals -x minus 2. There is your perpendicular bisector with the problem that's correct as opposed to the problem I originally wrote. So we need to know that. We have one more vocabulary word that I forgot to tell you about because it's something that you know already. And you should know already because, well, you did it long, long ago. So complementary angles, right? Complementary angles, that's measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals what? 90, right? That's basically it. Honestly, the hard part is probably a lot of the graphing review for some of you. So I'm gonna let you kind of work this stuff out. I'm probably going to interrupt you, grade some of it, go over questions, and then let you finish, and we're grading it today.